Brain and memory support. Stay mentally sharp, independent, and alive with purpose. Picture this. You're 75. The sun is just rising. You walk into the kitchen to start your day, and without thinking twice, you recall exactly where you left your keys, the name of your high school best friend, and the last joke your grandson told you that made you laugh out loud. Now stop and ask yourself, is that your reality or just a memory of what once was? If you've noticed yourself forgetting names, misplacing your phone more often, or losing your train of thought mid-conversation, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. As a doctor who spent over 30 years guiding older adults through the maze of aging, I've learned this. Memory loss isn't always inevitable, but it is a signal that your brain is asking for help. The truth is, your brain is like a garden. It needs tending. If you neglect it, if you feed it junk, deprive it of rest, drown it in stress, or isolate it from human connection, it withers, slowly, silently. But when you feed it well, challenge it with new experiences, and protect it from the things that wear it down, it thrives, even into your 80s and beyond. The silent threats. In our modern world, the threats to your brain aren't always dramatic. They creep in quietly. Chronic stress, inflammation, sleep deprivation, processed foods, medications you've been taking for years without realizing their cognitive cost. Worse yet, the myth that it's just old age stops people from asking for help or making a change until it's too late. The hope science offers. But here's the good news. Neuroscience has exploded in the last 2 decades. We now know that your brain can form new pathways, repair damaged ones, and adapt more than we ever imagined. It's called neuroplasticity, and it's not just a fancy word, it's a lifeline. Even if your memory isn't what it once was, your brain is never done growing. The right lifestyle, yes, including food, movement, and mental habits, can literally change the structure of your brain at any age. So what can you do? That's what we're about to explore in this journey. What really happens to your brain as you age? How memory works and why it fails? The best foods, supplements, and habits to support mental sharpness. What not to do if you want to stay independent and mentally present. And how to recognize early warning signs before it's too late. Because being able to remember your granddaughter's name, follow a recipe, or find joy in your favorite book, that's not just memory, that's freedom. And it's
Part
worth
1.
protecting.
Why the brain
Let's
ages
begin.
and what that means for you. Let's take a moment to think about the incredible job your brain has done over the decades. It solved problems, memorized faces, navigated decades of joy and heartbreak, and kept your body functioning through everything life has thrown at it. But even the most remarkable engines need maintenance. As we age, the brain, our most loyal command center, undergoes changes that, while normal, can feel frustrating or even frightening if we don't understand them. Here's what actually happens inside your aging brain. Shrinking brain volume, especially in the hippocampus, the part that stores memories. This is why birthdays and names sometimes slip away. Slower synaptic speed, your brain's version of buffering. You're still sharp, just not as fast as before. Less neurotransmitter production, including dopamine, your feel-good motivator, and acetylcholine, the memory messenger. This is one reason moods dip and focus wavers. Chronic inflammation, low-grade and persistent, silently damages neurons and slows repair. These changes don't mean your best days are behind you. They mean it's time to adjust how we care for your brain. Because here's the silver lining. Your brain is plastic, not the cheap kind, neuroplastic, which means it's flexible. It can adapt, rewire, and even repair. The right nutrients, habits, and lifestyle shifts act like fuel and tools in the hands of a skilled mechanic. The truth, your brain still wants to work. You just have to give it the environment to thrive. Part 2. Feed your brain nutrition for sharpness, mood, and memory. If I told you the brain consumes 20% of the body's energy while weighing only about 2% of your body mass, would that surprise you? It's like a tiny engine burning through fuel nonstop. But the kind of fuel you give it, that's where the magic or the mayhem happens. Let's walk through the most crucial nutrients for brain vitality. Fish, omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA. DHA is like the brick and mortar of brain cells. It fortifies cell membranes and reduces inflammation, the kind that ages your brain silently over time. Where to get it? Salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies. Plant-based eaters go for algae-based DHA supplements. Pro tip: 2 servings of fatty fish per week have been linked to a 60% lower risk of Alzheimer's in some population studies. Strawberry, antioxidants. Free radicals are unstable molecules that act like rust inside your body. Antioxidants are your body's anti-rust coating. Top sources: blueberries, nicknamed brain berries for a reason. Green tea, rich in EGCG, a powerful compound for focus. Spinach and kale. Dark chocolate, yes, in moderation, it's brain food. Did you know? People who eat berries regularly perform better on memory tests than those who don't. B vitamins, B6, B12, folate. These act like traffic signals in your brain, directing energy, repairing nerves, and supporting neurotransmitter production. Without them, mental traffic gets sluggish. B12 deficiency is extremely common after age 60 due to reduced stomach acid. Low B12 can mimic dementia symptoms, so it's worth checking your levels. Food tip: eggs, legumes, and leafy greens are your B vitamin allies. Sunshine, vitamin D. The sunshine vitamin plays a role in memory and mood. A lack of it can lead to foggy thinking and low energy. Get it from sensible sun exposure, 15 to 20 minutes a day. Fortified foods. Supplements, if needed, ask your doctor to check your blood level. Curcumin from turmeric. Curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory compound that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier, a rare superpower for a spice. Why it matters? It calms brain inflammation, protects neurons, and may even reduce amyloid plaque formation, a hallmark of Alzheimer's. Pro tip: pair turmeric with black pepper, which contains piperine, to boost absorption by up to 2,000%. A word of encouragement from Dr. Prescott. I've had patients in their 80s who told me, "Doc, I just want to remember why I walked into the room." And guess what? With small changes in diet and routine, that fog lifted. Memory came back. Confidence returned. They didn't need a miracle. They just needed the right support. And so do you. You're not too late.
Movement.
Your
The
best
most
days
underrated
may not
brain
be
medicine
behind
you already
They may
own.
just be waiting
If I
for
had
you
to write a
feed them
prescription for
right.
brain health, something cheap, side effect free, and available to everyone, it would say just one word: move. Not because your heart needs it, though it does. Not because your waistline demands it, though that's a bonus. But because your brain is built for motion. You see, every time you move your body, something magical happens in your mind. Blood flows like a tide, carrying oxygen, glucose, and nutrients right into the hippocampus, the part of your brain that makes and stores memories. It's like watering a thirsty garden. But that's just the beginning. Here's what the research reveals. Aerobic exercise increases levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a kind of miracle grow for your neurons. It helps grow new cells and protect old ones from damage. Physical movement reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that silently shrinks the brain's memory centers over time. Regular workouts increase the size of the prefrontal cortex, which governs decision-making, attention, and impulse control, skills that often weaken with age. Studies show that regular physical activity can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 30% and Alzheimer's by even more. Now, before you imagine yourself running marathons in your 70s, hold up. That's not what your brain's asking for. Here's what really works: brisk walking,
30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's all. Around the block, at the mall, on a treadmill, rain or shine. Just walk like you mean it. Strength training, twice a week. Lifting light weights or using resistance bands not only builds muscle, it improves balance, mood, and even memory. Tai Chi or yoga, which combine balance, breath, and brain focus. These slow movements don't just help your body, they also enhance neuroplasticity and inner calm. You're not too old to start. In fact, the older you are, the more your brain appreciates every step you take. I've had patients in their 80s take up dancing and suddenly regain not just memory, but joy. Don't underestimate the power of a body in motion. It's your brain's best-kept secret. Z. Part 4. Sleep, the overnight brain detox you didn't know you needed. Here's a fun fact that's not so fun. If you haven't been sleeping well, your brain knows, and it's struggling. Why? Because while you sleep, your brain does its deepest cleaning. During deep, restorative sleep, the glymphatic system, like a night shift janitor, flushes away toxins, including beta-amyloid, the sticky protein linked to Alzheimer's. When you're tossing and turning all night, that janitor's off duty. The garbage piles up, and over time, memory starts to slip, mood swings creep in, and brain fog becomes your unwelcome companion. Adults over 60 often report poor sleep, but that doesn't mean it's normal. It means we need to protect sleep like medicine. How to get sleep that actually heals? Set a regular schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends. Cool, dark, quiet room. Your brain wants a cave at night. Blackout curtains, white noise, and lower temperatures, 65 degrees to 68 degrees. No caffeine after noon. Yes, even that innocent cup of green tea. Screens off an hour before bed. Blue light tells your brain it's time to party, not rest. Supportive tools. Magnesium glycinate, herbal teas like chamomile, or melatonin only if recommended by your doctor. And perhaps most importantly, respect your sleep as sacred. Don't scroll until midnight or try to power through late nights. Your brain, that loyal worker, needs downtime to reset and restore. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of solid, uninterrupted sleep per night. Not just time in bed, but actual sleep. That's when your brain does its finest work, when you're doing nothing at all. A final word from Dr. Jonathan Prescott. If you're still reading this, you're already doing something amazing. You're paying attention to your health, and that puts you ahead of the curve. I've met many patients who said, "Doctor, I just want to feel like myself again. Less fog, more clarity." And every time I tell them, your brain remembers who you are. You just have to remind it. With every step, with every good night's sleep, you're giving your mind exactly what it needs to come alive again. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Start today. Move a little more. Sleep a little deeper. Think of it as a gift to your future self, who's still sharp, still joyful, still you.
Part 5. Lifelong Learning, because your brain was born curious. Let me tell you something most people don't realize. Your brain doesn't retire. It doesn't collect a pension at 65 and quietly fade into the background. No, sir. It wants to work. It needs to work. In fact, neuroscience has a beautiful term for this gift: neuroplasticity. It means your brain can grow new connections, forge new pathways, and stay flexible at any age if you give it something to chew on. Let me give you a picture. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you stop using it, it doesn't just stay still, it weakens. But if you keep it active, reading, playing, exploring, it strengthens. It becomes more resilient, more resistant to decline. This is what we call building cognitive reserve, a sort of mental savings account you can draw from as you age. Here's how you make deposits into that brain bank. Learn something new, a language, an instrument, even knitting patterns or chess strategy. Your neurons love novelty. Do puzzles and memory games, crosswords, Sudoku,
Matching games. They're not just time passers, they're tune-ups. Read daily. Doesn't matter if it's the newspaper, poetry, or a dusty novel. Reading sparks comprehension, attention, and recall. Write. Keep a journal. Try storytelling. Writing exercises memory, focus, and creativity all at once. Engage in meaningful conversation. Talk politics, gently, share stories, ask questions. Your social mind is sharpest when challenged. You don't have to be a genius, you just have to be curious. A patient once told me he felt too old to learn anything new. I smiled and said, "That's exactly why you should. Surprise your brain. It'll surprise you back." Part 6. Clear the fog. How stress steals your mental clarity. Let's talk about the elephant in the brain, the silent, sneaky thief called chronic stress. Stress isn't just a mood. It's not just a few tense muscles or a bad night's sleep. It's biochemical warfare, especially on your memory. What does cortisol, your primary stress hormone, actually do? It shrinks the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. It hijacks your ability to focus, store new information, or recall old memories. It disrupts your sleep and worsens anxiety, forming a vicious loop. And the worst part? Most older adults are dealing with chronic, low-level stress, whether it's health worries, financial strain, loneliness, or just a news cycle. The result? That foggy feeling where words just won't come. Losing track of what you were doing. Snapping at people you love. Lying awake with your mind spinning. You're not losing it, you're just overloaded. But here's the hopeful news. Your brain wants to recover, and you don't need a meditation retreat to find your calm. Here's what works: consistently, gently, powerfully. Mindful breathing. Try 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do it for 2 minutes. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each night. It rewires your brain for optimism and calm. Nature walks. Trees, fresh air, birdsong. Nature lowers cortisol like magic. Connection. Call a friend, hug someone, share a meal. Human connection literally soothes the nervous system. You don't have to eliminate all stress. Life will always have bumps. But if you can protect your peace a little each day, you're giving your brain space to think, room to remember, and the calm it needs to thrive. Dr. Jonathan's takeaway: the brain isn't fragile. It's brave. It's survived every decade you've lived, every loss, every joy, every sleepless night. All it asks now is a little respect, a little challenge, and a lot of care. So learn something new. Breathe, laugh, focus. Your mind's not giving up on you. Don't give up on it.
Part 7. Memory loss or something more. How to recognize the difference. Let me say this straight, from doctor to friend. Forgetting where you put your glasses isn't the same as forgetting what they're for. Aging brings normal changes. Yes, slower recall, more tip-of-the-tongue moments. That's part of the deal. But there's a fine line between typical aging and something more serious, and knowing that line might just save your independence. Here's what we consider normal: forgetting names but remembering them later, occasionally misplacing items, needing reminders for appointments. But when memory issues start interfering with daily life, it's time to pause and look deeper. Warning signs that raise red flags. Getting lost in familiar places like your own neighborhood. Repeating stories or questions without realizing it. Trouble managing bills, medications, or simple math. Personality shifts, suspicion, confusion, or withdrawal. Difficulty following conversations or directions. These may point to mild cognitive impairment or early stages of dementia. But before panic sets in, let me reassure you, not all memory decline is permanent or untreatable. Conditions that mimic memory loss and are often reversible. Depression,
Especially in older adults, it can look like dementia. We call it pseudo-dementia. Vitamin B12 deficiency, common, especially if you're over 60 or on acid reducers. Thyroid imbalance, too little thyroid hormone can cloud thinking. Sleep apnea, oxygen dips at night can starve the brain and sabotage memory. Medication side effects, anticholinergics, some sedatives, and even over-the-counter antihistamines. One patient of mine, Mr. Reynolds, came in worried about dementia. Turns out he had undiagnosed sleep apnea and low B12. 3 months later, with treatment, he was sharper than me before my second coffee. Early diagnosis opens doors, treatment options, memory training, planning with family, and above all, peace of mind. So don't ignore the signs. Talk to your doctor. The earlier, the better. P, Part 8, Supplements and Nootropics, what actually works for brain health. Ah yes, the supplement aisle. Bottles stacked like promises, labels shouting words like focus, clarity, memory boost. But let's cut through the noise. Some of these have solid science, others just fancy packaging. Backed by research and clinical experience. 1. Omega-3s, especially DHA, supports brain cell structure, reduces inflammation. Best source? Fatty fish, or a purified supplement. 2. Vitamin D3. Low levels are linked to mood changes, cognitive fog, and even increased dementia risk. Sunlight helps, but many older adults need a supplement. 3. Vitamin B12. Critical for nerve health. A deficiency can mimic Alzheimer's. Vegans, people with digestive issues, or anyone over 65 should check levels annually. 4. Ginkgo biloba. This ancient herb improves blood flow, especially in older adults with mild cognitive issues. Effects are subtle but measurable in some studies. 5. Lion's mane mushroom. Emerging superstar. Early trials show it may stimulate nerve growth factor, aiding memory and neuroprotection. 6. Bacopa monnieri. A traditional Ayurvedic herb. Studies show improved processing speed and working memory with consistent use. W. A word of caution. Supplements are not one size fits all. If you're taking blood thinners, blood pressure meds, or managing chronic illness, talk to your doctor first. Even natural compounds can interact with prescriptions or worsen certain conditions. And steer clear of unregulated brain pills with mystery blends, mega doses of single vitamins without lab testing, promises that sound too good to be true. Remember, real brain health isn't in a single pill. It's in the overall pattern: nutrition, movement, sleep, mental challenge, connection, and yes, informed supplementation. Brain. Dr. Jonathan's final thought for today. Your brain is a masterpiece. It holds every laugh you've shared, every story you've lived, every song stuck in your head from 1974. It deserves protection, nourishment, and your attention. Whether you're catching early warning signs or simply looking to stay sharp into your 90s, the tools are in your hands. You're not too late. You're just getting
Final
started.
thoughts. A brain-first life is a life well lived. You've made it this far with a brain that's carried your memories, your wisdom, your love stories, your hardest days, and your brightest joys. That brain, your brain, is still with you, still learning, still growing, still worthy of your care. And no, you don't need to be perfect. This isn't about doing everything right. It's about doing the right things, consistently, gently, and with intention. So here's your gentle prescription from me, Dr. Jonathan Prescott, not from a clipboard, but from the heart. Eat like your brain built your life, because it did. Move like you want to dance at your granddaughter's wedding. That day's coming. Sleep like the world can wait till morning. Your brain needs the dark to shine again. Learn like your curiosity is still alive, and it is. Pick up a book, a new word, or a paintbrush. Connect like loneliness is not your fate. It's not. You matter to someone, probably more people than you realize.
Breathe through stress instead of breaking under it. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. Your mind is not your past, it's your possibility. And the science is clear. With the right habits, your brain can stay alert, resilient, and sharp well into your 70s, 80s, even 90s. I've seen it in my own patients. Men and women who came in worried about slipping and walked out with a plan to stay strong. Some learned to meditate at 75. Others started Spanish at 80. One even began writing her first memoir at 84. She says her brain feels younger now than it did at 60. You can be one of them, truly. So today, don't just read this and move on. Choose one thing, just one, to protect your brain. Maybe it's salmon for dinner. Maybe it's a brisk walk before sunset. Maybe it's calling someone who makes you laugh. Whatever it is, make it yours. Make it real. Because your mind is more than memory. It's your identity, your compass, your fire. And with the right love, it can burn brightly for years to come.